This service is provided in high definition by freeconferencecallhd.com. You are the only participant in the conference. The recording has started. All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free, home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hoped you to always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Kornke. One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, west, southwest, east, and north. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube via live stream. And we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike Technologies east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends and evening out there in the lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, territories, and the clock. If you're out there on the west coast, the left coast, then you are 3 hours behind us, and it's still daylight and still afternoon out there. Also, it is 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the bottom of the state of Michigan. It is Monday. It is the 9th of November, 12th year of open Fabian Socialist and Soviet Socialist occupation of America with a K. 2020 Old Earth Calendar, 2020 Battle for the Republic, Dance of Swords. And here we go. So, for everybody, it has been a very busy weekend. I want to say, again, forgot to do this, but I want to say thank you and hi to all of our friends that came to visit, stopped in, said hi, and went back to their respective states. We want to say thank you for the gift of the state militia flag that we got from our friends in Eastern Kentucky. Got to get there right. And appreciate that, guys. It goes to the facility. It's up there at Nagahitchum, and it's on the flag wall. So anytime you guys can bring a banner along that represents your unit, it will go into the heraldry department where it belongs, where it's displayed, and part of the kind of like artwork we have on the wall, especially in the classrooms and also in the mess hall. So we appreciate the gift, and hopefully you guys have fun with what we sent you home with. Anyway, it is Monday. Let's see, we've had everything from they want to kill 70 million of us now. They want to exterminate 70 million of us, and they're repeating it several times with all the mouthy little commies that are now frothing at the mouth, and, they want to know where we all are and who we are. Well, I'm not with either party, and trust me, I'm thinking the same way in spades with all these stinking communists and every one of these mouthy pieces of trash that's out there. That's why I told you go out and write down where all the Biden signs are, just like all the paranoid people who didn't put any Trump stuff up because they were terrified. Well, you need to remember to do reverse to the enemy rather than cowering over in the corner. It makes more sense. So that way you've got at least the minions and the, hidey-hole peekers through the window curtains all on the list ready to go. We do. Everybody else here is working the same way. A lot of people have the same idea. So, and the other side, of course, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. It's like, yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, what's new? What's your point? But yeah, you haven't been around very long if you're thinking that that's really bothering me that much. The only thing is, like I said, you hunt them harder than they're hunting you. When you do catch them, we don't call the police. You should know better than that. My God, come on, people. Now, how are you going to find out who's who in the zoo if you don't keep what you catch? Remember, hunt them harder than they think they're hunting you. Anyway, ammunition. Yeah, between the announcements in the last full 48 hours, everybody's taking to heart. Yeah, they want to kill all of you, and they think they're going to get power, and they're going to murder all of us, okay? Which is why, like I've said, is tit for tat, only we punch them first and hard when the time comes, and we go after the ones that are the tentacle holders, the ones that have the tentacles, not the meat puppets in front of us. We go look for the ones we know what the shopping list is there. So anyway, real quick, nobody has much of anything, but what little they have, I mean, at least there's some things out there. Price is outrageous for some places I wouldn't even mention. But there's a little bit of ammunition left here and there, and there is some 50 caliber left, so I highly recommend that. Down at UN Ammo, they do have some 7.62x39 in stock. In theory, now application, if they show it, they have it. I will say that. They also have Wolf 300 AAC Blackout. The Wolf is $570 for 500 rounds if it's the steel case, and 620 rounds if it's the FMJ new production brass. But that's silly billet, and probably if I know you're spending another $50, but non-corrosive, non-magnetic, Boxer Prime. That means reloadable. If you got 300 Blackout, you better be reloading. There's so many 30 caliber bullets out there. There's no reason for you not to. In fact, you'd be crazy not to. That was one of the advantages of doing the 30 caliber mock AK round that has better performance. Okay, supposedly. Now we'll see how that works in the long run. We're going to find out real quick on the battlefield here. Another thing, they do have some steel case 308 down at UN Ammo, 500 rounds of 7.62x51 NATO steel. It's WPA Wolf Performance, and that's $390 shipped for 500 rounds. But they do have, again, the 50 cal in the armor-piercing incendiary, and I recommend that if you're going to be loading, going to be firing 50s, grab what you can. Now, they've got Red Army and they've got Russian mil-spec 7.62x39. The Red Army is $435. The mil-spec is $495 for 1,000. Guess which one Uncle Mark could buy first? More for less. Always more for less right now. More expensive, if it's still there, that's what you buy after you buy more of the cheaper ammo. It's both ball, 123 grain versus 122 grain. And otherwise, steel case lacquer, copper jacket bullet, I mean, if you were to throw them all in the box together, most people couldn't pick out the difference. Okay, I can. I mean, like I said, the lacquer cantilever is a real dead giveaway. But other than that, if it's a choice between one over the other, I'd buy the cheaper. More bullets for less money. And again, you're saving $60 by buying the Red Army as opposed to the mil-spec Russian. Both are fine. Whichever you choose, congratulations. You think I'm going to fight you over that one? You're the one buying the ammo. You're the pilot. So anyway, one of the things they do have over there, they got PPU. Now, they've had this, other companies have had this. $230 for 500 rounds of 7.62 by 38R Nagot pistol ammunition. And if you got an Nagot, you should be buying the hell out of this stuff because it's not any more expensive than anything else, but that Nagot round is a hot little biter, and it is a 7-shot revolver, so it's definitely worthwhile. They've still got some of the outrageously priced at $1 a round 380 ACP S&B 92 grain. Nobody's really biting at that right now. There's only 2 cases left in stock, though. And then they've got some 9mm Luger, 1,000 rounds for $755. It's MagTech, American-made, American-loaded, so that's right there. Oh, no, forgive me. Whoa, this MagTech is from Brazil. This MagTech is Brazil, not from down the road the way some of their other stuff is. So sorry about that. But still, Boxer Prime, non-corrosive, FMJ, but it's 75 cents a round, 75.5 cents a round. Oh, my God. Anyway, it's more expensive than a rifle round. It's like, well, if you bought your 9mm, you better not be shooting it. You don't shoot any pistol. If you're going to train right now, go get an airsoft, go get a BB gun. There's all kinds of BB guns that match up with the standard weapons out there, Berettas, 45s, and in fact, many of them even have, the newest ones, have recoil operation with slide working, the whole 9 yards. So if you're going to go with training way, that's the way to go because otherwise you can't afford to pull the trigger. You need those bullets for what's coming. So hold off on that, get into the other training aids, airsoft, and treat it realistically, or BB guns and treat them realistically because there are duplicates of everything you got. You can get exactly what you shoot, and if whatever doodads you need to add to make it identical, that's your problem, but you can do it, and it's not hard. Other than that, I've been pointing people towards Bear Creek for the upper receivers. Plum Crazy lowers are still available, but the problem is ammunition, as we know. So if you find anybody who does have, or we're looking for, 223 in any good quantity, but not $1 a round, if we can help it. Let's see if we can get lower than that. I think we should be able to. Hell, there's some 308 out there for less than or about 75 cents, 76 cents, 72 cents. 223 should be cheaper, but you know how that works. We understand the game and how it's going here, okay? One more thing is classic firearms, and I don't know, again, what they have. I don't want a scar. No, I don't want a scar, man. I don't want my face messed up, man. I don't want a scar. I would point out they do have French Moss rifles for $900, but there is ammunition over at AIM Surplus, 7.5 French PPU, brand new manufacturer. Not my first choice of ways to go, but if you can get a cheap 7.5, I'd buy the hell out of that PPU ammo, only because, again, makes sense to be affordable. Now, there's something else, and this tells me they're digging the barrels. They're digging through the barrels overseas. Astra NC6 revolvers over at Classic Firearms. Somebody was asking me. Now I see what you're talking about. I believe those are K-frame knockoffs. Astra is the same, they've been around forever. Astra's been doing what they've been doing for a very, very long time. The revolver lines that they came up with, these reflect about the same time that the Comanche and a lot of the other guns came into service. They're steel frame, K-frames. Basically, they look like a little bit of a Dirty Harry gun, but in this case, if you pay attention, look at the frame line, that's where you'll see the obvious difference. Now, they're not bad little pistols, but they are service revolvers that obviously have had some mileage on them. There is a video there to help you to understand new shipment of European police surplus revolvers inbound. Well, maybe they're not even there yet. Hell, hold on here. Well, they say they can, that they are. They've got Astra NC6 revolvers, 38 special, 6-shot, NRA plus good. basically a K-frame. I don't know if they're in between. I think, as far as I remember with these, that they're a K-frame line, but you'll notice that the front of the frame steps differently. Okay, but it depends on which gun you're looking at. They have more than one that they've brought in. The Astra 960 revolver 4-inch barrel 38 special, NRA good plus to very good. These guns are, well, you take a look at them. You can see they're typical service revolver worn. Carried / the stocks are there. The stocks are original Astra. They're not bad guns. We bought tons of them years ago, but they weren't really readily available, not like the Stars. The Star guns are out there more so than the Astras. And the Star revolvers, pretty good serviceability. I mean, they tune well. They pretty well can store just as well as any other gun if you're looking for a cash gun. Problem, they want $300 for these. So for a 38 special. But like I told you, they're digging around in the barrels. They're looking to see what else is out there, and they're grabbing what they can to dump on the American market. And these are the next wave. Again, law enforcement packages, needless to say. A lot of people have been asking me about SKSs, and I will repeat again. In fact, we'll look over here, but I doubt they have them. Your best bet is to watch resale shops and to see who has what maybe in inventory at the pawn shops and such, but they're going to be high now. So your personal sales are more likely, somebody who's hard up for cash, whatever. If you see something like that, snag it, run with it, because you can still get lots of 7.62 by 39. There's tons of that out there. There's more 7.62 by 39 there is 5.56 for the moment. Now, it's not going to last. This is kind of like, for the moment it's there, and then it'll be spinning off into the universe, and that'll be it. The sine wave will change yet again. In the process, as far as other calibers or standard calibers that you would normally see out there, not much is available in ammunition. So it's catch as catch can, and congratulations, tag you're it. In fact, hold on here. Somebody just said, look to see. No, it's mostly shot shells. And the pistol ammunition that they do have is the upper end for a classic and blank ammo. And it's kind of funny because I've already mentioned this. When they're really getting low, they they buy and list anything they can get their hands on. And there's blank ammo available in pretty good quantity, but it's like not really critical to your interest, if you know what I mean. There is a little bit of the 30 Luger out there still wandering around. Classic has a few boxes, and it's twice, well, not quite twice. It is almost twice what it was the last time they had it in stock. It's now about $33.83. You might recall it was under $20 before, and that's a little on the crazy side. Okay, now let's see if I can get this up here, and I think I can. This is another quartermaster issue. Attention, attention, attention. 2 items. Number 1, French F2 field jacket, CCE, camo, European surplus, size 2 extra large, chest 46. These are brand new, unissued 2X. They are over at... In fact, you have to write it down because they're not really in the regular ad. I don't know why they're not showing up. They might be over in the. They might be just over in the regular clothing. But French F2 field jacket CCE. That's woodland camo. Camo European surplus size 2XL chest 46 to 2X. These are the newer cut. They have the slit pocket fronts that you're familiar with most of the NATO/European for the era. And they're big, which here's what I'm doing with these now. I'm going to buy as many of these as I can get. If I've run into big sizes, we're going to put if they don't have a waist tie inside, they will when we're done with them. And what I'm looking at these as are assault smocks. Pants have gone so crazy that they're heading towards 3 times the price of a shirt, of a jacket, okay? That's insane, but it's the way things are, and it's not going to get any better. Watch the resale shops. And by the way, I even went to and scoured the surplus clothing last night for work pants. They want almost as much as they do for just a regular pair of, utility cargo pants. And it's ridiculous, but it's where things are. In fact, there's not a great savings on work, clothing right now, unless you can find something local. So I highly recommend, if it's OD green, earth brown, or tan, and you go to a yard sale, there's a bunch of them this next weekend coming up, I say buy everything that fits your people, but buy everything OD green, anything that's camo, whatever it is, it's clothing. But it'll get you, into fatigue/field gear. Blue jeans sound real cool. I'm going to wear blue jeans. Have you ever worn blue jeans in the field nonstop, 24 hours a day? Have you? I mean, really? Okay, we'll find out. And again, the idea is it's got to be roomy enough because you're going to be out there all the time. You're not going to get to time out, I'm going somewhere else. You can hang out of the blue jeans if you think you're going to infiltrate into town. But I'm going to point out something about that. We're headed into a war. Ask any of your buddies who were around during Vietnam, that war where we killed a whole bunch of Vietnamese, what a free fire zone is. Now, for a lot of you think, I'm going to blend in and I'm going to be secret squirrel and all you idiots are going to be fighting. You're stupid. Well, here's a policy that typically exists in a free fire zone. If you're male and you're of approximate fighting age, though usually the characters behind the guns don't care, you get shot. You just get shot. And you just get shot. You want to see an example of that? Remember that helicopter footage from Iraq where they chased those people around and they shot a bunch of the guys and they were they didn't care who the hell they were. They were shooting them anyway. They didn't ask who anybody was, and there was a free fire zone scenario. Van comes up, the guy doesn't know what's going on. If you pay attention, he's just riding up because he sees somebody on the ground. They justified it with their verbalese that they use, which is always the kind of propaganda BS you see generated, and they shoot the van up full of kids too, etc. Oh, they didn't know that was going to happen. Yeah, BS. Stuff that garbage. You're dealing with, again, hairball scenarios here where if you don't understand that these critters are just going to be shooting everybody, they find the frothing at the mouth, shoe-size IQ types that are going to follow any order and listen to what they're doing right now. They're being told now, and they've been twisted so that if you're an American and pro-patriot, you're the enemy. Do you understand that? The only people going to save this country are you. And if you think somebody else you're going to buy or hire to do it, you're an idiot. Well, the cops are going to... Who do you think they're going to send out for the guns? And, there's some that have said they won't do it, but there's a whole bunch of others didn't say anything for a reason, because they will. Okay? I can't answer that. He's with us because he can't answer. BS. He's planning on going along with it, and he didn't want you to figure that out because maybe you'll be cross-eyed stupid enough because he saw you carrying that idiot flag with the blue line in it. Oh, this idiot will believe anything. Yeah, just tell me who the other gun owners are. You're special, they're not. Oh, wow, did you hear that? He said, I'm special, they're not. But there are dimpleheads in both categories that will do just exactly this. One will say that, the other one will listen and believe it. Okay, so just a little heads up there. Anyway, I don't want to go too far from the clothing here. Real quick, the French CCE jacket, these are $16.99, $17 a piece, but they're new. It's at militaryuniformsupply.com, uniformmilitarysupply.com. militaryuniformsupply.com, militaryuniformsupply.com. Go over to their closeouts. Always look there first. Another thing they've got, which is an odd man out thing, military uniform supply jungle boot. These are cheapies. Yes, I know they are. But they're $20 a pair, and they have up to, I believe, size 12. In fact, let me see what's left, because 12s might even be gone by now, too. It looks like they probably, they have size 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Remember, they don't usually go half sizes with jungle boots, but they have at different times depending on the manufacturer. In this case, Military Uniform Supply, jungle boots with woodland camo. These are size 6 through size 12. Hold on here. No, the 13s are gone. I was hoping they might be there, but they're not. So up to size 12. And those are over at militaryuniformsupply.com. Uniformmilitarysupply.com. Check, see what else they have. I'm not going to mention a few other things because I want some of the stuff myself first. So you go look at the page. You see something useful, go ahead and grab it. Look at the prices and the closeouts. That's all I'm going to say. But and one item is incredibly cheap. Hopefully I'm going to buy every last one of those for one of the units that needed them. But if you get there first, it's a catch-as-catch-can thing. So I'm not worried. Anyway, another thing. Go ahead, caller. Jump in there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you something about the some clip pouches. You had mentioned, so I've seen the reproductions for the M1 Garand clips, but you had mentioned something else that was Molly that could be used for the to hold M1 Garand clips.
Oh, the one for the Garand, well, one that works is the grenade pouches. You know, the regular frag grenade?
Right.
Yeah, those will handle a couple of D-clips comfortably. I haven't tried the flashbang. I have several hundred of those that are part of the ACU kits, but I haven't really tried the D-clip in those. Now, I think the grenade pocket would be your better choice. Now, there is, hold on here, and now you got to, that's a good question. There was, go look at Major Surplus and see if they have any Molly Garand pockets or type Garand pockets there. And then also check Sportsman's Guide by going to their Molly pouches or their mag pouches. There's a bunch of Italian stuff that just came out. It's been coming out for weeks, months actually. And there is somewhere it's a double side-by-side Garand pocket, but I can't find it right now. And if anybody sees it first, let us know. It was in Coyote Brown, and they had it in OD Green. And it is a side-by-side. They're stitched together with a back panel, and they look like they're brand new. But the grenade pocket is what we've been using for the longest time. You make a little plastic or cardboard insert if you want to create a pocket stiffener. And you should be able to slide the D-clips in, just like you used to do. They made it on a cardboard back in the day, and you actually had them in the bandoliers that way, too. So that would be a solution. Otherwise, the other option is over at www.Apex Gun Parts. Go check Apex Gun Parts out. And it seems to me they still had the Alice type actual M1 Garand type pockets. But they're individual, like, instead of, here we go. They're right here. Now, let me see if they have the markdown ones, because the markdown ones are cheaper, and I go the markdown ones as opposed to the regular ones. So where regular are $7 for a set. I'm looking while I'm talking, but it looks like they might be out again. Well, they have the others, but they are Greek. Oh, no, here they are. Well, I went right by them, that's why. If you go to Apex Gun Parts, go to their sales and clearance section, first page almost on the bottom, and they have the special set of 2 M1 Garand N-block ammunition pouches, OD, canvas, Alice clips, Greek, good, stained, worn, a set of 2 for $6. Now, otherwise, for another $1, they have the pick grade, which are up above, M1 Garand. Oh, wait, maybe it's only for 1. Oh, that's the difference. You get 2 for $6. Hold on here. Let's see if you only get... yeah, you only get 1 for $7, and those are pristine. I do the other ones and clean them up a little bit. But those are actual Garand pockets. And what it's the equivalent to is the Vietnam-era TA-56 M14 mag pouch, only instead of the mag pouch for 2 mags, they have 2 D-clip pockets side by side, plus they've got the hand grenade hangers on the outside of the back panel, left and right, just like on an M14 mag pouch. And they have the hanger straps, so it's up to you if you want to use those, but the Alice will fit on the Molly work. or you can make those function, but that's the cheapest out there for a utility hanger. Going to have to clean the snaps up, I guarantee it. Going to have to oil them too, clean them up, and then toothbrush them is what I do. I just had to do that this last weekend with some stuff that I found somebody else had gotten rid of. And it typically, again, a little bit of number 10 oil or penetrating oil, get it in there, clean off the snaps on the one side. The big thing are the snap rings on the inside of the snaps. You want to get those, get in there with a toothbrush or a metal brush, ideally a metal toothbrush. Clean everything up, blow it off with with some air, or whatever you want to do there, and then clean them up, clean up the outside, scrub them a little bit with a brush, then repaint with whatever enamel paint you want to use for your snaps. Color-wise, I'd use green. That's what I did the last time. I didn't use black. Black just makes a black dot where I don't need one. So I went with green that way, or actually just flat green, almost an Italian olive. And that worked really well. So there's a solution, and they have those in stock. That sound like a better idea, maybe? Oh, okay, Tex-Mex is gone, man. What's interesting is they show 2 D-clips in there, one down, one up. So you're actually carrying 4 D-clips per double pocket, which I think is rather fascinating. I've seen it both ways, but apparently this is designed to accommodate 2 D-clips per pocket or one with a lot of room, so it's not hard to get your fingers around it and, pop the one out and then, go to the next pocket. Whichever way you do, these are not a bad idea. And depending upon what you've got in the way of what rifle you're carrying, if you're carrying a Garand, I'd be placing these all over the gear, like on the Alice pack, if you got any spare hanger points, any place where you can strap on more D-clips. The nice thing about this is that you can actually drop a few more D-clips and spread the weight out all over your equipment, not just piled up front or around your waist, which does make a bit of a difference in the long run. So something to think about there. And otherwise, let's see, what else did we have that was on the list of things to do? Another thing real quick here is this discussion about how, they're going to take this thing and go out days, then it's going to be weeks, then it's going to be months, and then they're going to do what they've always done. They're lying to us right now. The Republicans and the Democrats are lying to us. You do understand that, people, right? The Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans should have stopped this, could have stopped this before it went this far. The election would have been, they could have put greater demands on an honest, or at least relatively honest, we know better than that. It's been corrupt for a long time, but a relatively honest election by comparison. But because of what I've seen here, now they're going to buy the time, and then, of course, Trump's got to leave. Trump's going to have to go. Trump's got to leave. Oh, no, he lost. They've pulled Fox and had Fox start the mantra, too. That means the game is over. Does everybody understand that? The fact that they got Fox News, FAUX, to drop the charade about being conservative or even demi-conservative, their fakery is done. Well, that means that there's nobody. I mean, there are some other news services, but they're all second by comparison. Not that that makes much difference, because we know that all of them are hacks, as far as the ones that are ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, etc., CNN, and Fox News, FAUX. But now, there's all these people going, oh, switch to this other news service. How about we shut them off completely because they're just simply in the other camp? I mean, there really isn't any need to hear any more about the buffoonery going on, because it is a waste of our life's time, isn't it? I mean, here's how to let's save our troubles there. Let's accept the idea that the enemy is now making their move. That diversion you have been trying to ignore is the attack you have been expecting. That diversion you have been trying to ignore is the attack you have been expecting. Now, once you get over that, what are we going to do to deal with the problem? What do you have to do locally? Fuel reserves of any kind. 1 gallon of gas is better than you hoofing it down the road however many miles. Well, the vehicle only gets 10 miles to the gallon. That's 10 miles. You aren't schlepping 80 pounds worth of garbage down the road, isn't it? Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's a hell of a lot better. So for everybody out there that's listening, again, fuel, top everything off that you can. Don't forget, propane is a very efficient storage system. Propane makes a great weapon also in the long run. If you have to start, dealing with problems and get just too rambunctious, propane, if all else fails, you just pour it into an area. Put a duck foot on a tank with a line. Open the thing up. It takes it down a hose, dry, and opens it up onto a road. You pop a flare in the middle of that. The velocity of that propane is devastating. In fact, it's the closest thing. Here's what's bizarre, and I really haven't talked about this that much. I have talked about its survivability. It's really weird. It's surviving a nuclear attack. Propane will survive more so than any other fuel available. But here's the thing. When propane does go off, its velocities and characteristics are that of a nuclear device. Okay, now, granted, you've heard about the Moab. All they did is took a big, stinking propane primary canister, come up with a delivery duck foot, so when they drop it, it actually is dispersing the gas over an area to create a high, rich fuel-air mix. Hell, they might have even added an oxygen tank that pops at the same time, which creates even greater enhancement. And then they have one ignition system, so crude and simple, it's ridiculous. And boom! Well, you can do that to them anytime you want with propane. Take their brains and suck them out their ears if they're right on top of it. So propane is very, 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 very useful. It's great for a fuel, a cheap way to heat, an efficient way to heat because you can store it well. Coal stores better than anything, but propane is the safest of any of the EANs that you could store. Gasoline, kerosene, all those. Kerosene's not as much of a risk, but all of those, for whatever reason, again, because of the storage methods, it's possible someone can make a mistake. Although certainly they can boo-boo with propane, it's a lot more difficult to boo-boo with propane, okay? So that's one of the advantages. And again, close to a nuclear attack, propane tanks and canisters will not compromise if they are in the just on the edge of the 5 psi expansion wave, shock wave area of destruction. Inside the 5 psi peak, they survive to a degree, but it depends on, again, how close. If it's in the epicenter, you're dead. But otherwise, propane was demonstrated with all of the surface nuclear attacks. They did this out in the islands. They did it in the Southwest. And I can show you examples. The stuff they don't talk about, all they ever do is flap their yap to make you believe you're all going to die. Okay, well, whatever, then die. But if you actually do know what's going on, you'll find out, oh, no, it's quite survivable, more than survivable. The big thing is, once you do make it, now what tools do you have to work with? Propane should be a priority. You should know where every propane storage site is that's in your area. It is most likely that the propane storage itself, although it might be damaged, the propane systems, the tanks will have survived, and if they're loaded, there's fuel. It's why the government proposed and, in fact, started to implement a dual fuel system years ago, 40 years ago, hell, farther than that, 50 years ago. And when they did that, they had combination gasoline, propane carburetors, and the whole systems were hooked up. The only one companies that actually followed through on it earnestly was the railroad companies. And they already liked the idea of alternate fuels simply because of the nature of the railroad industry. So just a heads up there. Anyway, the characters are lying. There's no way around it. We know that the BSers are BSing everybody. Everybody knows there was vote fraud. I am amazed that people would be so stupid as to believe that it was a close race anyway. And those that do have to really be idiots. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. You have to be an idiot. It's like all of a sudden we have a temperature gauge and we have everything around the whole of the planet 75 degrees no matter where you are, or 70 degrees. It doesn't happen, okay? And it wouldn't make any sense anyway. congratulations. In this case, everybody was 50-50, 50-50, 50-50, all BS. That means there wasn't even further proof that there was not an election. And here, I don't care about the candidate. One way or another, like, Faggotville, San Francisco, I'd expect to see 90% for whatever queer was running, and of course the pedo, Biden, etc., along with the bar whore, okay? But between the pedo and the bar whore and Trumpette, one way or another, there better be some place where it's just the reverse, 20% for Biden, 80% for Trump. There's no indication, and in fact, every reporting process that took place, everything, every step of the way was so close. It was so close. It was so close. You know what? After a while, you should learn that obviously has to be just a barefaced lie. I mean, just in common sense. And it's everywhere the same way to condition, apparently, the Prozac prodigies. I mean, we got so many people on government dope, maybe that's where their brain went out the back door and long gone. I mean, it's probable. There's a lot of them. And that's what's gobbling this horse BS up, okay? This horse S-hit up. There we go. Anyway, now, a couple of the things that we need to take into consideration, we've been talking about, again, government. In the event we go into a conflict on American soil, the regime is going to totally betray us. By the time we're done, the Democrats and Republicans will be working together against you, the American people. We've already seen where the rhinos, but not only that, the spineless Republicans are now busy running up and begging that the Democrats spread their butt cheeks so they can lick their bungholes, okay? This is going to be seen more and more because these are creatures with no intestinal fortitude whatsoever. They, in fact, will not shock or amaze you because my Uncle Mark has been telling you about this for quite some time. All you're doing now is seeing validation. There's nothing that should surprise you here. I've walked through it time and time and time and time again, intentionally, so that the point will be driven home when you have this happen. You're not going to be shocked and amazed. Now, the big thing here is that to benchmark who it is that's doing this, because by God, you don't let them back into anything. They've demonstrated that in reality, at the very least, they're spineless curs, but most likely they're paid for shills. And you don't want them involved in any politics or any political activity from this point forward. It's like I said, when Cheaper Than Dirt did what it did, I've just mentioned their name 3 times in 2 programs, and that's the most you've heard from me on them in what years? Why? Well, because they betrayed us, and I am not going to forget that. They had no reason to. They just were part. That tells me they were shills. That they are so deep up the bat faggot's bunghole that they couldn't be pried out with a crowbar if their life depended on it. And several other people did the same thing. The moment that the rabid, crazy, Looney Tune leftists under Bummer started to go after the guns, these characters literally just folded. You're seeing the same thing right now. Don't be surprised. Point out that those people have no business being anywhere near any post, any political office, and they really don't have any political authority whatsoever, and or have any, let's just say, dog in the fight, because they never were in the fight. They're not involved. Wherever it is that they can back out and disappear and hide under the bed, they're doing it now. Or, like I said, they're licking their bunghole. Either way, we have to have our own mechanisms in place, and now earnest or real people need to be stepping up. Now, I'm not talking about declaring you're going to kick them out or whatever. Piss on them. We don't even have any interest in their junk. By the time we're done, I'm going to point out when we win, one of the punishments for these politicos is we're going to chain their ass, ball and chain them, give them a whole big pile of chisels and hammers, and they're going to disassemble these bureaucracy buildings. One brick at a time. We're not going to just turn them into rubble. We're going to disassemble them. Some of the junk's going to be destroyed. We'll probably find more corpses in the wall than we want to, but that's why we're having them disassemble them slowly so we can find all of the skeletons in the closets, literally, or at least in the dungeons and the basements, right? So what we need to do is we need to have a complete and American system ready to go. We don't need to brag about it. We need to focus on it. We need to be like adults. We do this amongst our own. We're not worried about recruiting. It's not in our interests from outside. At this point in time, you need to make sure you know who it is you're dealing with. Even in your own families, there's people you know you don't trust at all. Treat them like the redheaded stepchild they are, and have nothing to do with them. These characters will betray you. And if they betray you, someone will be doing, I was just trying to help you. I didn't know they were going to execute you. I didn't know. Well, before that happens, keep the idiot stick away from your family. Keep them out of your life. Kick them on down the road. If they're these hyper leftists or any of these, what's the other one? The reasonable / the moderates. Well, we got to work with Biden. Oh, okay, well, you do that down the road and away from here. Don't come back. And it's not, you know what? You're being nice. Not like you're beating on anybody. It's like, just stay away. I don't want you to come around. Don't want to have anything to do with you. You've decided that you're going with them. You ride with them. I don't want to see you showing up at the doorstep begging for anything either. You already told me you're going to get everything you need from the parasite, and the parasite's going to take care of you. Well, you watch and see what happens. Now, again, remember, they'll be there scratching at the door because they have a right to your stuff on top of everything else. Don't forget that that's coming too. But meanwhile, you're evil and bad, terrible and stupid for what you do until all of a sudden they're not being taken care of, and then they expect you to take care of them because you're evil and stupid, but they're smarter than you are for being able to want your stuff, and they deserve your stuff. So be ready for that one too. With regard to infrastructure in terms of power, well, this is where you're going to learn some lessons from 100 plus years ago. Most of the country was not electrified by GE or Edison or the power company. America, especially rural America, was independently powered. Now, this is something you should all be ready for, but it also means you're going to be more economical and intelligent about power management. I've recommended for the longest time, guys, invest in solar lighting wherever you can, even the throwaway stuff, or technically throwaway. The smaller solar lights, which we have that enhance the night vision that's sitting at my elbow here right now in the camera I'm watching that's running, headed, like doing the clock spin. These units are enhanced with basically what are less than $1 standard throwaway solar lights. They're as far out as 2 miles, or as close as 1 mile, or actually as close as only a few yards. But the idea behind this is that, again, I have range and I have some visible spectrum radiation, which is available, doesn't cost anything, can't turn it off unless you walk up and destroy it. If they want to take the time to do that, that's a flare or flag in and of itself. And by the way, typically when they go up to do that, unless they want to start firing rounds or do something else, it's ludicrous, a waste of resources. One way or another, it's going to give me an indication that something's going on. Now, I'll tie in something else with that. Drones do make noise. You do understand that. Everything makes noise. It's just a matter of, can you hear it? Shotgun mics are so ridiculously cheap to make. I've talked about this for many years. Watch for any of the old satellite dishes, the little ones that are on the roof that are the size of a pizza plate. Watch for the snow saucers. I have about probably 15 of those right now. You can put a microphone properly stationed with a couple of standoffs right in the center of one of those. Either one. In fact, on the satellite type, all you do is actually mount the microphone where the LEM unit normally is, the L&B unit, and what you do is put your mic there, and when you point at an area, it becomes a sound collecting system. Now, you want to be a little more sophisticated, so you want to put a foam filter over top of the mic to knock out some of the other background noise. But guys, you use that for aerial scan without even using frequency counter yet. And anything and everything above, and anything and everything out to a certain distance, it sounds like you're standing right next to them. They're not difficult to make. They're so crude, it's ridiculous. One of them I have here that was put together, used a hand roller for doing paint. And basically cut a hole, put the dish, put the hand roller, took the roller off, took the end caps off that hold the roller in place, made that just a clear shaft. You poke that through the small dish, and that becomes your extension for your microphone. The microphone turned back towards the dish itself becomes the collector at the center of the focal point for the collection, and you have a convenient handle with the paint roller handle that's normally there. You don't take that off. And it was all, again, throwaway junk from a dozen different little projects or little things that normally are thrown away, and you've got yourself a listening device. They may be quiet, but they're not silent when it comes to the drones, even the little popcorn farts. But if they're bigger, guess what? And it's amazing how well, when you knock out all the ground sound, how easy it is to actually hear them. Now, LPOPs, listening posts, observation posts, this is one of the reasons you want to develop and perfect this technology. Remember, a listening post, all you're doing is you're paying attention to and listening for man-made sound, man-made noise, right? That's what you're looking for. Not hard to do if you have a little bit of technology on hand. Even microphones, microphones just smattered around in different locations and hardwired offer you a tremendous amount of intelligence and information, which even with small arms fire, et cetera, helps you to zero in on a threat, be it high-powered rifle, quiet rifle, whatever. Everything makes noise. It may be quieted or made a little more silent than average, but when you amplify it with a collection system, it's just like somebody dropped a book on a table. So there's not a whole lot they can do out there. In fact, aircraft, if you can't see it, at the very least you can listen for it. Understand that that's one of the unwritten stories about knocking down the F-117 fighter that they didn't want to even let anybody think about. It's the idea that you can hear the aircraft no matter what. One of the things that the Serbians did is also used audio collection mics in perimeters to actually identify aircraft passing through the space that couldn't be seen readily, even though your radars are doing a good job still. So the fact of the matter is that with audio collection, they were able to track step by step through the defense grid where an aircraft was. And if you're not familiar with it, we did this before World War II in radar. Guys, go look at the Edison sound collection horns that the Army and the Army Air Corps and the Coastal Defense employed. You probably have never heard of those before. You didn't even know they existed. Now, the difference is, rather than it just being a big audio collection horn, and by the way, they came up with some phenomenal designs, Alexander Graham Bell and Edison. And these designs held over into, and in fact, basically are still used to this day with electronic collection. So check that out. One guy sitting at the collection point with the horn. They didn't use electronics to collect. They were actually using their own ear. They were listening. They heard aircraft. They send forward a message. Observers, identify what's coming in based upon the collection from that sound collecting horn. Think about it. Now, we have better we have as good a technology, and we can be in one person can be more in one place, listening simultaneously. And if you orient the sound collection north, south, east, west, not only can you hear something coming, but you can track it mechanically from point A to point B. From one area, its actual flight or avenue of approach or passing, especially if it's passing. Something to think about there. You can't see it, you can still hear it. So that's another technology solution. Not just complaining or pissing and moaning about the problems. We're going to die. No, they're going to die. In fact, here's the idea. You make it so stinking expensive that they'll wish to God they never showed up on the battlefield. If they plan on killing 70 million Americans, and that's what they're bragging about right now, they want to kill 70 million of you. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, we've heard that before. I don't have a problem with that. We'll do it right to them. If everyone just decides, I'm going to take one with me, the other side's dead. If every other person decided to just take one with me, they'd be out of combatants. They just would cease to exist. So everybody better get the attitude real quick. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain by getting rid of the buggers on the other side. And if they're going to kill you anyway, you might as well get rid of as many of them as possible, simply because they won't bother your friends anymore. I mean, you do like the people you're riding with, right? And since they plan on doing it anyway, well, you didn't buy that ammunition for the fun of it, and you haven't been training all this time for the fun of it. We're not getting any younger. We need to do this now rather than wait till later. So they picked it. They're going to start it. We're going to finish it. That's all there is to it. This is America. We know we've got it. We know what the problem is. There's nothing going to change this. They can threaten all they want, but they've already played the cards that tell me this is it. We are done. Conversation is not relevant anymore. I mean, other than just, okay, we'll point to the road marks as we go, but all we are now, it's, the spine of the ship has been broken. It cannot be fixed. The shipwreck is here. Anyway, God bless our republic. Yes, to the New World Order. We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire's on the run. We're in the march. Organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Establish a 510 program in your area of operation. Communications, transportation, and medical are high priority. You don't have to fight. But there's a whole bunch of people that came before us. They were a lot older than I am. Not only did they fight, they put down the enemy hard. You're going to have a mission in life, too, same way. Our war is here for our time. God bless. Ed taking over. Bye-bye.
So we're going to do this again?
And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the piper boys, we were born forever free. Let's go pay the piper boys beneath the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Pay the price they're asking, boys, always pay the tyrant's fee. Never give up the struggle, boys, fight for the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Stand for the rights of man, boys, stand against all tyranny. Hang the lance of freedom, boys, high on the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. It will grow as we grow, boys, it will be as strong as we. We must cling to our faith, boys, faith in the Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun, permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you will fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
I was watching from the window, listening to the pouring rain, when I saw James flash a peace sign from the plane. And with one last look, he was off to fight for Uncle Sam in the war-torn jungles of South Vietnam. When he first arrived in country, he could not believe his eyes, couldn't understand why people had to die. But he did his thing for Nixon, spilled blood upon the land, for a host of reasons he just can't defend. These days he's just trying to get by, still dreams about that day in their life. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where those Charlies died, 'cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. second tour was over and he made his way back home, he felt defeated, discouraged, and alone. You might say he has some problems you wouldn't understand. No, this wasn't quite the life that he had planned. He's been living in seclusion in a cabin by the lake. He's been seeking faith with every toke he takes. And now that pot's been legalized, well, this old broken man plans to move to Colorado when he can. These days, he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in their life. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Jimmy bought a place near Denver where the air is fresh and clean, close to the mountains, the rivers, and the streams. A golden opportunity to start a brand new life for this purple-hearted soldier and his wife. The day that final curtain falls and it's Corporal Johnson's time, well, I hope that God will try to keep in mind the sacrifices that he's made to keep our country free, so that we could live in peace and harmony. These days, he's just trying to get by. Still dreams about that day in their life. So he rolls himself a big fat one out where the eagles fly. 'Cause thinking about the war just makes him cry. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by. Yeah, these days he's just trying to get by.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is, 9/11, my wife's birthday. Yeah, it's 9/11. It's time to open the Veterans Manual. I'm your host, Machine Gun Randy. I come to you from Libertytreeradio.org.com, Indiana Freedom Talk Radio.com. And if you'd like to call and offer something for the show tonight, you can do that at 712-432-0900. Activation code is 957464 pound. A *6 will demute you. Again, those numbers are 712-432-0900. Activation code is 957464 pound. A *6 will demute you. So again, that number is 712-432-0900. Activation code is a must, 957464 pound. A *6 will demute you. All right, I'm going to start the show off and welcome home our heroes that are coming home on leave from wars somewhere across the ocean. And just help them have a good homecoming, because there are idiots out there that like to disrupt them because they don't believe what they're doing is right. So right or wrong is not a question, because they do what they are told to do. They're trained to do what they do. And that's what they do. That's what I did when I was in the service. We'll get into that later. But what I'm getting across is, if you see somebody who is messing with our soldiers that are coming home for a peaceful leave, disrupt it. You don't have to get right up there eye to eye with the guy, but you can yell from a safe spot away and tell him to leave the guy alone. And if he persists on it, yell out, "Veteran needs help," and you'd be surprised at the number of veterans that would come out to help. So be cautious, because they could be with guns, they could be with machetes. Those guys, they use whatever they can, but don't let them mess with our soldiers coming home. And another thing, if they have time, take them in and buy them a beer. That's about one of the best things you can do for them, because they have been a long time coming since Vietnam, but the people are still there. And as long as there are Armies and Marines and Air Force and Navy and Guard personnel fighting in another country, there was a lot of people at our homecoming that was there to disrupt us, and they did. You know, on my return trip home for getting out of Vietnam, I was spit at when I came out of the airport by what they called a spit platoon. Got my attention by yelling out, "Attention," and spit. And they spit at me. And I seen it coming, so I got out of the way. I didn't get hit or anything, but yeah, they didn't welcome me home well at all. And add salt to the wound, on my way home, a cab driver, a black cab driver, offered me what I thought was speed, but it ended up being LSD. And that was my welcome home. By the time I got home, all the concrete on the road was turning into wizards and ravens and all kinds of stuff that you can imagine. So if you're listening to this and you are a soldier coming home, beware. Don't take nothing that anybody gives you that you don't know. Because it took me 16 hours to get to where I could go home again. And it was, I gotta say, it was a good trip. I handled it well. Just coming home from Vietnam and being strung out on a hallucinant drug as potent as the Purple Oz was. I talked to my mom with no problem. I got into the bar and talked to people there that I haven't seen with no problem. And I get a ride from Bill Bella to my brother's house. And today I can't realize what I said during that time. I knew Bill real good. And after I got out of the car in my brother's parking lot, he took right off. Didn't say goodbye, nothing. And that was a good friend that I hadn't seen since I left for Vietnam. And it bothered me, but hey, what can I say? It's what I did. But that's what happens if you don't pay attention when you get to where you're not familiar with the people, but they're friendly and they offer you stuff. Be careful, be cautious, and don't be stupid like I was. But hey, luckily I came through that. But no, and I got something to tell you here. A few years ago, I was struck with hepatitis C. That was back in 2001. And I had the opportunity to take their medication then. It was, I can't remember the name of it. It was a medicine that they injected into you or had the pills to give it to you. And you had to take it for a year. And it could do anything from nothing to killing you and all things in between. Arthritis and everything in your body, including your heart and lungs, yes, you can get it there. Not very comfortable if you have it in the heart or the lungs or anywhere as far as that goes. But it can cause that. It can cause numerous other things, including death. So I declined to take the interferon that they were offering. And every time I see my doctor, he says, "Are you sure you don't want to?" I said, how's my liver enzymes looking on there for the on your test? And he says, well, you're still right there at 6. And that can go up into the billions. So as long as I was there, I did not want to take anything that drastic yet because my numbers were 6. And you're in good shape at 6. And that's how they knew I had hepatitis C, was because my liver My liver enzymes came up at 6. So I declined on their interferon. So they had me go see a doctor in Ann Arbor. And this doctor, he took and talked with me, took the liver biopsy on me, and he got the results he was looking for when I was there. And he told me, yeah, you're right. You don't need to start interferon shots. You can start them anytime these numbers start going up. And they really don't start worrying about them until you either die or you beat the disease. But it doesn't seem right to me. I'm a gambler, and you got 40% of it to work, and it can do anything going up into killing you. So I passed on it, and hey, when it became available, I was taking Hormona, and it cured it in 1 month. It was gone, and I took 2 more months of the medication, and I beat it, and that was without the doctor's advice until I went on and on and on for 12 years before it got to me. And as long as you let the VA give you medication, they'll give it to you. That's their job, taking care of you, making sure that you're whatever you're in there to go there for is taken care of. And I also have PTSD. And of course, anybody who listens to any of my shows, I'm giving this kind of information out. When it comes to PTSD, the VA has many medications they can give you for it. And as long as it don't come out of a pipe or the end of a joint, they're not doing you any good at all, because there is nothing that will top it. And, you know, they're not looking for a cure for it. And marijuana is not a cure for it. But it puts you in a better position than Thorazine put me in. That laid me out in the corner. Sit in the corner all the time, drooling. Nurses come by and light my face for me. So as soon as I got out of there, I went and I got back to my old reliable marijuana. And just like I thought when I smoked my first joint then, I knew then that I would be doing that the rest of my life. And since I was doing it in Vietnam, to me, we was doing it because hey, you got high on it. And our company had about 45% of the company smoked marijuana. And they not knowing it then, they were fighting PTSD. It held back all the feelings that were there when somebody close to you or somebody near you that you might not even know, but it affects you the same way, except you might bawl or cry for somebody that you knew, but the person that was next to you, you can just say a prayer for them, but sometimes the tears aren't there. And that's where smoking marijuana helps you, and people don't realize that. If you haven't been there and you don't know, but people who smoke marijuana understand somewhat of what I am saying. And light it up. Light them up. That's what that music's for. Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I'll put that down.
Yeah. I didn't pour it all out. Just add a little bit to it.
Well, I was going to tell you that this part of the show and the last song was dedicated to Stacy Pomorsky, my daughter. She, last week at this time, was going through a brain surgery. And it's the first time this particular system was tried. And she came out of it well. She don't have no bad movements lost, or she don't have no movements lost or anything. Her surgery went around great, and she wanted me to thank all that prayed for her and keep praying because she is still healing. Stacy, you with us yet tonight? I didn't think so. She's not awake. She's sleeping. But, yeah, that song I thought was appropriate for her. Standing to the center of your mind. I can't imagine anything like that. They, during her surgery, they clipped an artery that started bleeding in her brain. And it took them 2 hours to repair that and then get on with the procedure they was doing. And it turned out to be pretty good because of the fact that she was the first one that came through that in the condition that she did, the flying colors, I would say, that she did come up that way with was great, no matter about the artery and that comes with any surgery that you have going on. And if you're lucky, they can fix it. And if you're not lucky, you don't know about it. So you're in their hands when you go through that. And I've seen a lot come through. Even our own Angel May, she had a pretty good surgery that she went through that was on the spine. She explained it like it was octopus on her. And you want to talk about it?
Sure. Hey, it's Angel May. I talked to you once before, and here I am again. Yeah, I had a little issue with my back. It was regarding my spinal cord. I had about a 2-inch tumor, wrapped in there. It's kind of like a jellyfish. Tentacles were wrapped around that spinal cord pretty good. And by the time they discovered I had it, it was not good. Very intense pain. A lot of almost what I would describe as like electricity going through my whole body. So I can really relate to a lot of people that are in a lot of pain, that have had a lot of pain and are still in pain. And that relates to you veterans out there. You guys have served our country. God bless all of you. Thank you for your service so very, very much. We wouldn't be here without you. And we're going to try to find some services for you guys out there, that anything and everything that will help you and your families, and that will just really kind of change things up. We talked about cell phones. last week, just a little bit. Just run that by you real quick. Anybody who does not have a phone, there are free cell phones out there available to you. If you can get a pen and a piece of paper ready, we've got some phone numbers here that are a phone number that you can call, and you would probably more than likely be available or eligible, I should say, to get a phone so that you would have a way to call out if you need to. I'm going to run that number by those of you who have a pen, and those of you who don't, we'll run it by you again later. It's Hot Pepper, Q-Link, and that number is 855-754-6543. And that is what used to be called an Obama phone, and it's now changed up, of course, to something different. But again, it's a free phone that would be available to a lot of you veterans who don't have anything. Okay, and so then we're going to change it up here just a little bit to something that Randy accomplished about 4 years ago. What did you do, Randy? How did you apply for that, or what did you do?
I was talking over the show about veterans to be able to hunt, fish, go on to federal lands, and use their recreational, with a pass allowing us to go and do so as veterans, disabled veterans. And, well, it came out. Go ahead and read that.
And so the accomplishment was accomplished. And I think this is a really, really good thing that Randy did. This appeared in the Pioneer paper here in Reed City, Michigan. I think it comes out of Big Rapids, Michigan. This is Veterans Gold Star families granted free access to national parks. And I'd like to read that article quick so that you will know a brief on what's going on. This is coming from Washington. And it says, beginning on Veterans Day, November 11th, veterans and Gold Star families will be given free lifetime entry into national parks, wildlife refuge, and other federal lands starting. Current rules state that only active duty service members and their dependents, as well as veterans with 100% disability ratings through the Department of Veterans Affairs, are eligible for free entrance into all national parks. The change provides free entry into millions more veterans and families. Secretary of the Interior Dave Barnhart announced the initiative last week during an event at Iowa Gold Star Military Museum in Des Moines. With the utmost respect and gratitude, we are granting veterans and Gold Star families free access to the iconic and treasured lands they fought to protect starting this Veterans Day and every single day thereafter, Barnhart said. According to the Interior Department, veterans must present some form of identification reflecting their veteran status to get free entry into national parks. This includes a Defense Department identification card, VA identification card, or a U.S. driver's license that has a veteran designation. The department is defining Gold Star families as the next of kin of a service member who lost his or her life in war, an international terrorist attack, or a military operation outside of the United States. Ben Goldley, Interior Department Press Secretary, said Gold Star families would be let into national parks for free based on the honor system. For years, veterans and experts have praised experiences in nature as the therapy for those suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, which I can relate to myself. Exposure to outdoor recreation can provide a wide range of mental health benefits, and given our nation's ongoing veteran suicide crisis, this is a welcome step forward using a whole-of-government approach to improve the lives of veterans, said Jeremy Butler, CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. So this is great news. And again, with this post-traumatic stress disorder, being inside in a dark room with the blinds drawn and the curtains drawn is not the answer. This is some light coming out there for you folks to get out, enjoy at no cost. hey, so let's do it, and let's get those phones in your hands. We're going to run that number by you again so that you can do that if you do not have a telephone. And that number is, you're going to go, it's Hot Pepper Q-Link, I believe, 855-754-6543. And Randy's got his number here. He will give you to call in if you need anything at all. We would be glad to help you. We will pray for you, pray with you, and God bless you. And back to Randy.
All right. So, hey, that is cool. I started talking about that back in the 70s at different veterans meetings and that. And I brought it up on the show. And Ed told me that when you enlisted in the service, you enlisted for what you enlisted for and what you got. This is true. But now I'm not in the service no more. I'm a veteran. I'm a veterans advocate. And I will do anything that I can do that can bring things up, like this here Gold Star thing. Feels good. I'm glad that that's happened. It's been a long battle, and it's been won.
And we're going to grow.
So I guess that I'm doing all right with what I got going here. It's helped in a couple of stations here, or ways here. One is what we were just talking about. This is November 11th, which is 2 days from today. We have Veterans Day, and now we can go to federal property, and we should meet. Everybody can't go everywhere. You know, I'd like to go to Yellowstone Park and do this, but I can't do that. Yeah. But what can be done is everybody that's a veteran and would like to partake in a state or not forest owned by the federal government, such as the national forest here in, what's the name of this national forest here? I forget it.
Go tell them at a later date.
Yeah, here on National Forest, I think it is.
Rose Lake?
No, but at any rate, get to a federal property and claim your rights, because now, if you don't have the money to get in, you don't need it because you're a veteran. You served your country, and now the country is paying you back in a pretty large way. You know, this carves the way here for millions of veterans to get into Yellowstone Park, Grand Canyon, Great Smoky Mountains area that are owned by federal, and you would have to pay to get in.
There's more services out there we're going to find out about.
Yep. And this is only one. Outside of Big Rapids here, about 2-3 miles, there is a campground for veterans to come in and hunt at no expense.
Find out.
And I'm sure other communities have done the same thing. Things are different from veterans, for veterans, like it was back in days when I came home. You know, when, of course, when World War II veterans came home, God bless them, my dad was one of them. During that time, they gave big parades all over the place. Ticket parade. They had confetti coming down from the top floors of all the high buildings. And that was really good. Good welcome home. Everybody was shaking their hands. Of course, the sailor that grabbed the girl while she was a doll in their days grabbed her and she was walking by, bent her down and gave her a big kiss with his wife looking at them while she did this. But they dug it. They came home. Well, they won the war. And Vietnam, we didn't win the war. But we came close to it. It was right across the table from Henry Kissinger staring the other guy in the eye. And before the session was opened up, Henry Kissinger, he took and asked his opponent over there, how can we honorably withdraw? They took a recess and the Vietnamese went outside. Now, he jumped for he should have because Richard Nixon told him, get us out with an honorable withdrawal any way you can. So the Vietnamese, they were there now, and they were going to surrender. But they had no money left, no food, no ammunition. But before anything was said, Henry Kissinger asked, how can we honorably withdraw? And the North Vietnamese came back, stared him in the eye, and said, you want to honorable withdraw? Leave now. And we started our withdrawal honorably. So always pay attention to the other guy before you let your big mouth overrun your butt like Henry did for Richard Nixon, excuse me. Now with that out of the way, I would like to say American tobacco companies, I haven't forgot about you. I got you on my mind all the time because you killed my wife. Yeah, she died April 30th at 6:15 in the morning. And she was torn right down to a stick. And you son of a guns, you got her to her. It took you, let's see, she was 16 when she started, and she died at 65. And it wasn't a wake up in heaven situation for her. When she died slow and in pain. In the end, she was getting morphine shots every hour. And I thought about asking her if she wanted me to just put her away. And I didn't ask her that. And I'm glad I didn't, because now it's over and she went out the way she wanted to go out. Had to have been, because she still tackled me up to the end. She drank a few years. She quit before she quit smoking. But I'll tell you one thing about that drinking, which she said that she'd take a drink and it tastes like a metallic taste to it. And it got so bad that she had to quit drinking. Now, Bruce Herring, a friend of ours, he died of the same cancer, similar, but same thing. He was a drinker. He drank a lot from the morning. That wasn't nobody shooting, folks. I think it was a pop of a champagne bottle that just went off. But anyways, he had the cancer, not the same cancer, but he tasted his beer, who he's been drinking since he was 14, and he's now, I don't know, 58 or something. But he drank his beer, and it tastes like a metallical taste to it. And his wife, Lila, told him, Bruce, when Pam stops drinking the beer, tastes metallic, and you should go get checked. And he got checked and found out that he was in the fourth stage. His liver had done things capsized, and nothing they could do for him. And he died 4 months later. So if you start tasting metal like in your beer, you better get to a doctor, and it may already be too late. But yeah, from what I've seen, that is what has happened. And now the tobacco companies are still in operation. Our insurance company agrees with them. But you poison them, and they'll stab them and carve them up until there's something else we can do for them. So the insurance company is agreeing with what's going on, but they're hassling me for a $9,000 disagreement on the gap insurance. So that's okay. That's only, the doctor gets more than that for performing the surgery, and they're hassling me about it, but they're letting them patients that the tobacco company is poisoning, they're letting them go ahead and smoke them cigarettes. Remember the song, smoke, smoke, smoke your cigarettes? That's what it is. They're letting them smoke, and there is nothing that you or I can do about it except stop smoking. Take your loved ones to the acupuncture. It don't cost that much. $65 to $100 will get you to where you will not smoke again. So, come on, go to the acupuncture. It's only a week's worth of cigarettes for you. You can afford them cigarettes. You can afford going in and getting your some pins and needles put into you. Some are put in the feet, some is put in the lower back, some is put on the forehead, and one was put on each ear. And when they got done with it and took them out, her urge for cigarettes was gone. My doctor, Jeffrey Jarvis in Wyoming VA clinic, told me about acupuncturing for that. And once she told me about that, I started getting people to go. Well, there's too many people out there. I can't do it for them all. So if you lost a loved one and you got some extra money, you can take $100 for 10 people and change their lives and let them go out and give 2 or 3 people or 10 people the same life-saving procedures that they just went through. So With that, I say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and kingdom and glory forever and ever. Amen. I'm Young Randy, and I will see you again Thursday night on the Medical Marijuana Hour or the American Marijuana Revolution. Adios. God bless. Hank and Hank Jr. on the show.
It was hard for him to get out of bed when the phone rang. Sleepy-eyed, she said, Charlie's drunk again. Why don't you just let it rain? Through the years, he'd always picked it up for the guy who came back and saved his butt. What they have in common is a brotherhood. So you could understand they were forged by fire. Hard times to be up, give you an unbreakable bond.
And as I can listen to the I would